Hello there, welcome to this review of the recent tornado outbreak across parts of the southern US. Unfortunately, we have just seen a violent and deadly tornado outbreak across primarily Mississippi, with tornadoes also touching down in Texas, Alabama, and Tennessee. There may have been some tornadoes in Arkansas, but none have been confirmed at this time. The primary story of this event has been a single storm that formed in central Louisiana and produced a series of intense tornadoes, at least one of which has already been confirmed as violent, just after it crossed the Mississippi River. This particular supercell is responsible for all of the confirmed tornado fatalities at this time, 25 in Mississippi and 1 in Alabama. It was also responsible for the issuance of numerous tornado emergencies and directly impacted many towns and small communities. Some of the towns that were most severely impacted include Rolling Fork and Silver City in far western Mississippi, Black Hawk and Winona in west central Mississippi, and then Egypt, Wren, Armory, and Smithville in northeast Mississippi. It then crossed into Alabama and produced another damaging tornado by Hartselle, produced another couple of tornadoes in other places as well. A separate storm produced a tornado in Florence, Alabama, and there was also a tornado in Fayetteville, Tennessee. There were some more weaker tornadoes scattered about that didn't produce particularly notable damage, at least as far as we're aware. As I said, we have unfortunately had at least 26 fatalities as of the time of making this video, and we would encourage anyone who's able to donate to the aid efforts to help these people who've had their whole lives stripped away from them. Many more people than that 26 have lost their homes and will not have a way to get their homes back for some time, if at all. It's a rather deprived part of the United States that's been hit by these tornadoes, and it's likely that some of these people won't have home insurance and won't be able to rebuild. So anything you can give them will help them start their journey to recovery and get back to some semblance of normalcy, which I think we can all agree is something they deserve after what they've been through. Going over these statistics further, the preliminary tornado account at this time stands at 1 EF4, with that first tornado that touched down just east of the Mississippi River and was responsible for most of the deaths in Rolling Fork. The next tornado that storm produced is preliminary EF3, and that's from Black Hawk to Winona. The third tornado it produced is unrated at this time. That's the one that impacted Amory and Smithville and Wren and Egypt. There was a tornado that has also been unrated at this time near Bear Creek, and then an EF2 tornado in Hartselle. The Florence tornado was an EF2, and the Fayetteville, Tennessee tornado was an EF2. And then there have been so far 7 EF1 confirmed, 2 in Texas with the morning storms, 4 in Mississippi, all of them with a secondary supercell that tracks through the far northern part of the state, and 1 EF1 in Alabama, which is a total of 14 tornadoes at this time. That number is likely to go up as further weaker tornadoes are surveyed. The information from the Amory, Mississippi tornado will likely come out later today, according to National Weather Service Memphis. They are currently surveying it, but they needed more time before they could give a preliminary rating, or they needed someone to give them a second opinion. There are tornado experts going out to do these surveys. It's been confirmed that the best in the nation are heading to Mississippi to survey the damage, particularly in Rolling Fork, which is potentially very high-end EF4. But that has been confirmed. They have just said EF4 somewhere in the range, which is 166 miles an hour all the way up to 200 miles an hour. So at the moment they've said it's somewhere within that range. And we will get further information on where in that range it is in the coming days. They have confirmed recently that it had a maximum width of 3/4 of a mile, that it was on the ground for 1 hour and 10 minutes, and that it had a track length of around 59 miles. That's for the violent EF4 tornado that impacted Rolling Fork. Now I'm going to take you through the tornado emergencies. The first was, of course, for Rolling Fork. you can see a very powerful, well-defined storm with a deep debris ball moving straight through the center of town. It's the worst case scenario, and you never want to see something like this. But unfortunately, tornadoes will keep happening, and eventually they're going to hit population centers. But it's an unavoidable fact of weather. After moving through Rolling Fork, it continued to the northeast and impacted Silver City, but it was a bit weaker at this time, and it is believed to have lifted some point in Holmes County before the Black Hawk tornado touched down, again with a tornado emergency in place. It then moved towards I-55 and Winona, and a tornado emergency was issued for these locations. The tornado is then believed to have lifted somewhere west of Walsall before the storm cycled and produced a incredibly powerful tornado by Amory. It is one of the strongest radar presentations ever, although it should be noted that it was incredibly close to the radar, which has certainly given it a boost. The rotational velocity on this storm was in excess of 200 miles an hour when you take the winds going in one direction and add the winds going in the other direction. That combined total is over 200 miles an hour for this storm, and you can see the huge debris ball that's the same size as the entire town of Amory. Very gratefully, this storm only skirted the northern part of Amory and may have been beginning to weaken as it hit the town. It seems the worst damage has been just to the west of town in the community of Wren, that unfortunately took a direct hit from a likely violent tornado in 2011 during the super outbreak. Speaking of the super outbreak, this tornado then went on towards Smithville. It gave a glancing blow to the south side of the town as it was weakening. Nothing on what they experienced 12 years ago, but still an unwelcome reminder, I'm certain, for many residents. Finally, we're going to end up with this map from Mississippi Emergency Management Agency showing the three main tracks of tornadoes across Mississippi. You can see again that tornado touched down and rapidly developed shortly after crossing the Mississippi River. It went from a funnel cloud to a wedge tornado in a minute, pretty much, according to Chaser first-hand reports. I've had the pleasure of speaking to a couple of them. It was a horrible situation in Rolling Fork. I'm very grateful for everyone who helped out and helped get people to hospital. And hopefully we can now get some donations towards the aid efforts to speed up the recovery now that the first response phase has ended. And although not shown on this map, this same supercell did produce further tornadoes in Alabama. Now, on a final note, we do have some upcoming severe weather. We have an enhanced risk tomorrow for large hail and a few tornadoes. And then later in the week, we have a risk for the central and southern plains on Thursday, with all hazards likely. So there is a general severe weather threat tomorrow for all hazards. Be aware, particularly if you're in the parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama that are in that enhanced risk. It is just to the south of where that tornado tracked yesterday. Sorry, those tornadoes. But it is a level 3 out of 5 risk, so people in this area need to be paying particular attention tomorrow afternoon and evening. Before I end this video, I'd like to thank everyone who came to our live coverage yesterday. It's been our most productive live coverage so far. We were able to help a couple of people who were directly impacted by the storms. We hope we did them a good enough service. And I'd just like to repeat that the aim of this channel is to echo the officials, National Weather Service and local emergency management to help get the information they want out to help save lives. We want to be an echo to magnify the official message so that more people get the information they need. On that note, thank you very much for watching this update on the tornado outbreak. If we get breaking news, we will make a second review video on this outbreak. And at the end of the season, we will probably make some sort of general review of the tornadoes of the first half of the year. But that's several months away, and there's a whole lot of tornado season to get through. We'll be here to give you the information you need throughout that time. Once again, if you're able to, please donate to help the aid effort. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.